Well, Dan, what's happening with home prices?
Well, we actually get a positive headline.
Whoop, whoop.
Home price index sees greatest gain in over 2 years.
I have to confess that there were 4 or 5 other negative headlines about this home price gain. And I specifically went and searched for a positive-ish or at least neutral headline, just so the viewers know.
And 9
crazy.
times out of 10 you can find that at Housing Wire. And this article is from Housing Wire.
There you go.
They don't try to sensationalize things. They did like a month ago, and we hit the store, and it was like, this is weird. It was like a weird opinion piece on Housing Wire. You know, they're like, our numbers are down. Throw something crazy out there.
We need some clicks.
Yeah. But the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index of home prices in 19 U.S. cities rose 5.7% in August. Remember, these are always a couple months behind because they wait for the data to come in. And that is compared to a year ago. The greatest year-over-year gain since 2018, which I think is kind of a funny statement. The greatest ever in the last 2 years. Driven unsurprisingly by tightened supply amid record low interest rates. This is a quote. Who is this quote from? Matthew Speakman. He's an economist over at Zillow. By some measures, home prices are rising at a faster pace than they ever have. An incredible feat considering the market is rising from an already elevated level, which I think is a very important point. The supply of for sale homes, already extremely tight, has only become more constrained in recent months, and historically low mortgage rates, which could end soon or could go for the next 3 years, depending on who you listen to. They continue to encourage many buyers to enter the next market. Though supply remain tight, the industry may be catching up as single-family housing starts, more on that later, rose to an annual rate of 1.108 million in September, a level not seen since 2007, and up from August. And that's according to the U.S. Census Bureau. So those home builders are getting going.
We were talking about at the very, very beginning of the year that housing starts look good, that they were up 13%, and we expected to have more inventory added to the market this year. There were going to be some good buyers. We expected rates to remain constant, and everything has changed in that. And the Fed has been in the news lately. There were some opinion pieces that we did not add to the news because I didn't feel like it was newsworthy. But one of them was like, is the Fed running out of ideas to fix this economy? So the Fed has a mandate to keep high employment and to keep money flowing. And if you've not seen the video I did detailing what's going on with the Fed, I implore you to check that out, because as a real estate agent, lender, anyone in the real estate industry, it's important for you to know kind of what levers they have to pull and then why they would pull those levers, because that may inform what could happen in the future, whether or not rates are going to stay low for 3 years or whether, like the Zillow economist says, they're going to start ticking up. It does appear that I think they would start ticking up, but I do not think that means what everyone thinks it means. I think even if more supply hit the market, I don't see the price of homes decreasing. I would only see the rate of sale continuing to increase until buyer demand is satisfied.
I mean, it would have to be a crazy flood of homes.
We were talking earlier, like 3 or 4 months, we were saying that there was exactly half of what was needed to satisfy buyer demand on the market. You remember that? There was like 1.5 million available, and they needed 1.7 more million or something like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like even if there was a flood of inventory, there wouldn't be enough inventory.
Housing starts or new construction can't catch up fast enough. So it's not like they start new ones, new projects every month. So it's not all of a sudden going to just hit. Here's 1 million new houses in November. They're going to slowly hit the market, but they're being bought, or are they? Teaser alert. They're being bought as we go. So it would have to be resale homes that just, I mean, in our market to get to 6 months, what are we selling? I'd have to have this month, I'd have to have 500 new listings, or about 420 new listings in the next month to get to a bigger supply, a natural 6 month supply.
And I think all of these things are working together, from people moving out of major cities, major metros, going into some areas around the Midwest, like Dusty Martin. She says that I have friends who quit their property management jobs in Seattle and moved back to Arizona after having to drive near through the Seattle riot areas daily. for months. Wow. Ryan says that we've already seen it in Houston. As a percentage of what is hitting the market every week, we're seeing 60 to 70% of those same numbers decreasing price respectively. So you're starting to see, that's right. I remember that post that you were talking about, seeing some price adjustments. And I'm wondering if that's not people that just felt like they should be able to sell their house for more and then realizing that they've overpriced, or that, agents are like, well, whatever you want to price it, let's just get it out there on the market. You'll sell it for that. And then they're kind of figuring out that that's not always the case. He says, for example, last week, 2,045 new listings, 1,479 price decreases.
So
it
can
sounds
we
like
break that down real quick?
Yeah, to me, in my opinion, it sounds like sellers were a little zealous about trying to get a unrealistic price point. And I would love to know how long those properties were on the market before they dropped price.
Right. Did the agent give him a week? Like, okay, we'll try your price for a week, but then we're going to drop. Because if you really, an agent that really knows what they're doing, it's better to start low and let the market correct itself. Then you go up. But if you start high, I say it all the time to buyers and sellers. If we start too high, buyers are smart. They know what is going on. They see all this info, all this data coming in. They know if a house is overpriced. They won't even look at it, or they'll take the 3D tour and then they're out. They won't. If they're not compelled enough by the price point to come see the home physically, especially during the Rona. So I think that's what he's seeing.
Ryan says taking advantage of the boom. Yes, that's what I'm thinking that they're trying to do. David joins the convo. He says, "Happy Wednesday, gents."
By the way, he shared the show, so thank you, buddy.
He did share the show. I saw that he shared the show. Thanks for sharing the show, David. He's been doing that every week, though, for us. Michael Elizabeth Rodell said, or using an agent that doesn't prep the property or for market. Yep. I could see that. If it's not perfect, it's not going to sell. Well, it might sell, but it's not going to sell at the price point you want. Dusty says, I see price adjustments in my market, but it's usually overpriced for the market. People hear seller's market and they think overpriced by more than the market is going for. Some home prices are up, but list to sell price ratio is down. That's interesting. So there was a time period in the beginning, right after the Rona, that the list to sell price ratio was way up. It was over 100%. But that has gone down recently. So I guess people's mentality and maybe the agent's mindset of what they could get for the property has adjusted. Dusty said I have 20-year charts.
We do have a lot of price decreases as well. And they're mostly 650 and up, but there's some in the 400 range and 500 range that have decreased their price. And it's 45 days on market, 41 days on market. Like, think about that. All the craziness we're talking about, pretty much every story is houses are going faster than ever. And then you get to like 41 days and you're like, dude, what's going on? Like, that used to be 100 days on market. What's going on with that house? Now 41 seems like an eternity to me. I mean, you would have to miss the price in Rancho Cucamonga. You have to miss it by $50,000.
Wow.
93 days on market, 55. Then you get into luxury and things are sitting a little longer. But
Ryan says list to sell ratio is down there too. Dusty goes on to say that as a result, I have buyers who really believe that prices are going down, but it's a false flag. Yeah, it's not that prices are going down. It's that sellers are adjusting their expectations. A price of a home is not the price of the home until it sells. So sellers are adjusting their expectations, and they're selling, but they're still selling way higher than they would have sold, and they're selling way higher than they sold last year. Does that make sense? I feel like that doesn't, but it made sense in my brain when I thought about it.
I'm going to add to it
since June. David says going down because appraisals are coming in lower and more often. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Based on the crazy price or the crazy offer they agree, the crazy offer price they agree upon, then the appraisal is coming in low. But if you ran numbers from a year ago, the house is still worth another 5 to 10%. So yeah, they're still up. Most of my listings this year have been, listed, around average market or maybe a little low, and then it gets bid up. And thankful they've appraised. But even if they didn't appraise, we've had some that haven't appraised. It's still above where it would have been a year ago, even if it appraised. We have one in where is this one? It's in Hemet, and we told him that it was worth $265. He wanted to list higher than that, and then accepted an offer price at $293. And we were like, it's never, ever, ever going to appraise. And then it appraised at 267, but still higher than we listed at, and higher than a year ago. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Dusty said it makes sense to me. I've been squawking about it for over a year in my market.
Squawking.
I know. It's funny to picture her doing that. Melissa said appraisals are an issue, but I've come out victorious challenging you a few recently. I've only like gained like $1,000. Appraisers around here do not want to make many adjustments, if any at all.
Yeah.